What is going on, Cover One crew? Chris Chow's back again for Fantasy Football Cover One. Hope everybody is doing great. I am doing fabulous because it is a game day, baby. We got Thursday night football, a dandy in the making. We got the Chargers versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes going up against Justin Herbert, and you know this is going to be a fabulous contest. So you know what? Let's waste no time. Get those lineups set, and we even got a little point spread picks. I'm picking the winner tonight, so let's dive in and waste no time. So who in their right mind is not excited for this contest? Because I am super stoked, because this is going to be one of the better contests. Could be likely one of the games of the week. No kidding, on Thursday Night Football. Short week, and we got a lot to dissect. So let's talk about those LA Chargers, man. And right off the bat, we know who the roster is, man. It's Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Sony Michel, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, Gerald Everett, and Jalen Guyton right now. We do have Keenan Allen on the injured list. He is not going to suit up for tonight's contest. But when we look back at what they did last week, man, 65 offensive snaps for 355 in yards, pretty good. But they handled the Las Vegas Raiders. They handled them pretty darn well in that opening contest. Looked very good. The rushing aspect for the Chargers wasn't necessarily on point. 31 attempts for only 76 yards. Eckler did not have a monster day whatsoever. Mostly regrettable for all those that were looking for that stud start. But this is how the game kind of went down, as the Chargers pass game was very efficient, not overly abundant in yards, 279 with 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, no fumbles on that respect. They did have one fumble occur, but not lost. They were +3 on the turnover ratio with 32.32 in time of possession. Very important to understand how the Chargers were moving the ball, morphing the ball, and holding the ball, and that gives us a fantasy football viability all day long. We talk about those Chargers. Let's go into a little start sit for the week. We got Justin Herbert. Obviously, he is your stud start. You are not going to put him on your bench, especially in a contest versus Patrick Mahomes. He has been trying to be a dominating force against these Kansas City Chiefs, and this could be the year. We saw how good this defense was versus the Raiders, and they're going to give the Chargers offense the many opportunities to gain the ball back. So I'm wondering how this Chargers defense is going to play. Yes, no J.C. Jackson again as well. He has been dealing with an injury since the start of training camp, if I'm not mistaken. But you're still going to lock in Justin Herbert, 23.26 points last week. I could very, very much see him flirt with that similar stat line against the Chiefs defense. Austin Eckler, he did not hit, man, last week. He was under 10 points, so he is a bust in week 1. Week 2, I got to say, they're going to employ him a little bit more. They want to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. They're going to try to utilize this ground game, start the run game a little bit more. Yes, they're flirting with Joshua Kelly. Yes, they're flirting with Sony Michel, who got 1.2 points last week. It's not great. I want to see Isaiah Spiller installed in this offense, but at this point, it looks like Sony Michel, has beaten him out for the touches along with Joshua Kelly. So we'll see how Isaiah Spiller does morph in this offense. I could see him maybe halfway point of the season now, because he did lose some traction, but still, with Austin Eckler, we got to say he's a stud start week in, week out. You're not going to put him on your bench. You're not going to think about that. You got to plug and play him, and I think he's going to do very well in this contest. I think the Chargers are going to be utilizing the pass game to the running backs quite a bit, so I mean, definitely keep your eye on Austin Eckler having a very good show, man. Sony Michel is a high-risk play. He could have some TD upside, but nobody's really going to start him right now unless you had Eli Mitchell and you're dying for running backs and you got Sony Michel off the waiver wire, but still, he is a very much a high-risk play. He's likely not going to do much outside a goal line opportunity. Mike Williams, on the other hand, he had a bust of a day last week of 2 points in fantasy, and this is all half PPR, so everybody was, screaming his name saying, do something for my team, and he did nothing for y'all. But now, with the caveat that Keenan Allen is out of this contest with an injury, Mike Williams' game now will be that much higher, man. Low risk play for me this week. It is a very good start. You got to think that Justin Herbert's going to look in his direction a lot in this contest, and we'll see how Kansas City's going to defend that, man. We talk about the secondary options now with Keenan Allen out of this game. Josh Palmer is that mid-risk. I do believe his role will expand this week. We thought it might happen last week when Keenan went down, but all that target share went to DeAndre Carter, man. 13.9 points for Carter. He came out of nowhere on this roster, and he looked looked very good, very sharp, and Herbert was definitely trusting him. But I do got to say, I do like Josh Palmer this week more than I do DeAndre Carter. I think Palmer is the guy that we got to, think about playing if you're in a pinch for a wide receiver spot, that he could do very well in this contest. He is a much better wide receiver than a lot of people give him credit for. But the low-risk option here without Keenan Allen does go to Gerald Everett. 12.9 points. He wasn't great, but he did more than enough. That touchdown pass he caught, backing into the end zone, he looked very sharp, man. Looked, fresh. He looked clean. It was a good performance overall for Gerald Everett. So I think that he is a good low-risk start this week as well. For sleeper upside this week, I got to say it's a high-risk sleeper upside, and that's Jalen Guyton, man. 0 points last week, only played 5 snaps, but he has and holds that deep threat appeal. That one shot down the field, 60-yard bomb from Herbert could happen in this contest because they're going to try to keep the Chiefs' defense honest because that front seven is very good in Kansas City. But I do believe that Jalen Guyton could be a sleeper, but I mean, maybe more in DFS for y'all. If you're looking for that sleeper play, I don't know if I can even stomach suggesting putting him even in your flex. It is a high-risk sleeper appeal for that one. For the Kansas City Chiefs offense, we know Mahomes, CEH, Isaiah Pacheco, Juju, man, Mecole Hardman, Valdez-Scantling, Travis Kelce, and Sky Moore. Those are your top dogs in this offense as we sit today. Okay, total offensive plays last week, 66 for 488. They absolutely tore apart those Arizona Cardinals. It was a no contest whatsoever in that contest, man. Rushing attempts, 27 for 128 and 1 rushing touchdown. I did like how the Chiefs did utilize the ground game a lot. They looked very sharp in both aspects of the pass and the run. You gotta love it, man. Mahomes went 365 touchdowns, no interceptions and no fumbles, no sacks for loss. Mahomes was absolutely perfect last week, and this is what we come to expect from one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL, in Patrick Mahomes. Overall, the Chiefs, they did fumble the ball 5 times, only lost 1, so that is definitely something you got to keep your eye on. Turnover ratio was a -1 with time of possession 34.42. So, I mean, that will go into the category of saying the Chiefs will be up against a very good defense in Khalil Mack, who had 3 sacks last week against those Las Vegas Raiders, man. But for the Chiefs that we're talking about, who we're starting, who we're sitting this week, obviously the stud start is Patrick Mahomes. No question. Travis Kelce, stud start. Between the two of them, they were almost at, 50 points last week? 34.9 for Mahomes, 22.10 for Travis Kelce. These guys, I mean, we knew this was going to happen. No Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce is now the new #1 wide receiver, quote-unquote, target, I should say, receiving target for these Kansas City Chiefs without Tyreek Hill. It just is what it is. The rest of the pieces with Juju, with Mecole Hardman, MVS, and then now Sky Moore, they're going to mix and match this play every single week now to be that much more multidimensional. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be this year. They're going to be very confusing until about, I want to say, like week 6, where we get a little bit more film on them, and then defensive coordinators are going to understand at least who to key on in a little bit more. But as we said today, they were extremely diverse and versatile, using Pacheco, using CEH in the pass game. He caught himself a couple touchdown passes. Like, this is what they were doing last week against those Cardinals. The Cardinals were completely lost, man. They weren't even in the ball game from jump. And in this contest versus the Chargers, who the defense is extremely solid, man. I loved it on paper coming into after the free agent signing period. I loved the Chargers defense on paper, but now after watching them perform in week 1, they are legit, man. I mean, Khalil Mack and Bosa, you cannot go wrong. Wait till they get J.C. Jackson back in the secondary, and they're going to be unreal. Derwin James all over the field as per usual, so he's going to give Mahomes a run for his money. So how I want to say this as well, they're going to try to utilize the backs again in the pass game. I truly believe it, but we might see a little bit more stretching of the field. So for me, CEH is that mid-risk play. I said, okay, I wasn't in on Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year, and if I told y'all, if he proves me wrong, I will definitely sit back and eat those words. He proved me wrong in the first week. He looked good. He didn't look great. He looked good. He looked fresh, and he was, no injuries whatsoever. He looked good in that contest. For Pacheco, he's going to be a high-risk play week in, week out. I think a lot of his inflation did come in garbage time when the Cardinals were extremely out of that contest, but he's going to be that change of pace back, I think, more often than not than we did believe, because Rojo is not doing it. McKinnon does get sprinkled in just a little bit here and there. Juju Smith-Schuster still remains a low-risk play for me this week. The PPR upside is definitely going to be there. The yards may suffer just a little bit, and then on top of it, the red zone appeal is probably not there like we want to see. But I do believe there were some drops in that contest for Juju. He didn't look, there was a couple plays, if I remember correctly, that he didn't look on point, but that's chemistry building with a new team. He's going to look better in this contest. He knows what's up for grabs in a divisional showdown like this in prime time. Juju's going to come ready to play. Mecole Hardman, high-risk play for me, almost going to be every week until he shows me otherwise, especially in how this wide receiver room is right now. He was running the positives for Mecole. He was running Tyreek Hill routes on that goal line inside the 5-yard line. You got to love it, man. The in and out little slants, and getting the touchdown. That's what Mecole Hardman's going to do for you. He's going to go deep a little bit more, but the sleeper appeal does go for MVS for me this week. They will try to stretch this field to keep this Chargers defense honest. They're going to have to manufacture ways to get the pass rush off their game, and they're going to likely do the quick slants. That's why I'm saying Juju is a very safe play this week on a low risk, but the sleeper appeal does go for MVS for me because I do believe they're going to try that shot a little bit more. Like, we didn't see it enough in the last contest because they didn't really have to. I think in this contest, they're definitely going to try that deep shot at least 2 or 3 times to keep Derwin James sitting back instead of in the box to help stop that run game, man. Obviously, like I said, Travis Kelce, the stud start, and Sky Moore, I should have put high-risk sleeper alert because he did look good. He only played a handful of snaps, but, he did look good. He looked like he was, ready to go. He's got massive hands, this man. The ball came his way, and he was just snagging it out of the air. So, for myself, I do like that about it. So, for me, if I'm picking one or the other, I'm going to say MVS over Sky Moore. Obviously, we got to see a little bit more out of this man before we can trust him. But I do believe if you're looking for a high potential, high reward wide receiver this week, MVS could be that guy on Thursday Night Football. When it comes to the final score, man, point spread picks, you got to love it. I'm always into point spread picks. I don't know if you guys are, but hopefully you guys jump on the wagon. The spread is 4 points in favor of those Kansas City Chiefs. I am bucking that trend. I am going the Chargers, man. It's time for the Chargers to showcase their ability against Patrick Mahomes and do it well, man. Does it mean that the Chargers can still lose and cover? Absolutely. That's why we love this spread. +4 for the Chargers. I'm going Chargers still 32-30 against the Kansas City Chiefs at home in Kansas City in Arrowhead. I think it's going to be a very good showing, a very good contest, and we're going to be delighted when it comes to the end of it. So there you have it. That is the Thursday Night Football contest between the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. I'm excited for this contest, man. I'm getting already excited. My pants might be wet by the time kickoff goes, but hey, that's just how it is, man. Nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments. Give me your thoughts. Who y'all starting in this contest? Put them in the comments. Let's talk it out, man. Get in those comments and smash that like button for me. But nevertheless, we'll see you next time. I am out.